I don't know about you, but I like Christmas music. Ever since the day after Thanksgiving, whenever I get in my car, I turn the radio to 99.7 because that is a station that plays non-stop Christmas music all day and all night. But even though that station plays dozens and dozens of different songs throughout the course of the day, it seems to me at least that there is one song that they play more often than any other. And that song is, "There's No Place Like Home for the Holidays." Are you familiar with it? It starts off, "Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays, 'cause no matter how far away you go, when you pine for the sunshine of a friendly face, for the holidays, there's no place like home sweet home." And then the verse says, "I met a man who lives in Tennessee, and he was heading for Pennsylvania and some homemade pumpkin pie. From Pennsylvania, folks are heading down to Dixie's sunny shore. From Atlantic to Pacific, gee, the traffic is terrific." And then it goes back to the chorus, "Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays." Maybe that song gets played so much because it speaks of something that almost all of us can identify with. Maybe that song gets played so much because, especially at Christmas time, those words speak of how so many of us are rushing around to the malls, to Christmas parties, to family gatherings, and to so many other places. Yet, in the midst of all that running around, deep down inside of us, there's a desire to know that there is some place that we can call home. That there is some place where we are loved and welcomed. Even when it came to that first Christmas, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem, according to the Bible, everyone was on the go. There was Joseph and Mary traveling from Nazareth down to Bethlehem. There were the angels soaring down from heaven to announce the birth and then returning to where they had come from. There were the shepherds racing at breakneck speeds in from their fields in search of a child lying in a manger. And a little later on, there were wise men journeying over hill and dale in search of a king whose birth they had seen announced in the stars. That first Christmas was a time when virtually everyone was on the go. In fact, at the time of that first Christmas, the emperor in Rome had issued a decree ordering that everyone leave where they were living and return to where they were born so that they could be counted. Everyone was headed somewhere. But in all likelihood, deep down inside each person was the same question. Is there some place that I can call home? Is there some place where I am loved and welcomed? In our reading today from the prophet Isaiah, he also speaks of a time when everyone will be traveling. Isaiah speaks of a day when everyone, everywhere, will be making a journey back to God. And no matter what obstacles may have been there in the past, God will take away those obstacles. The eyes of the blind will be opened, the crippled will be made to walk, the deaf will hear, and all the dangers that had been there in the past will be taken away. God everyone to come to God and to find with God that home, that eternal home that we have been searching for all along. Notice that in the New Testament, Jesus never goes up to people and says, "Like me." He never goes up to people and says, "Think about me." He never goes up to people and says, "Agree with me." No, what Jesus does time and time again is he goes up to people and says, "Follow me. Come and be on a journey with me," Jesus says. After all, before Christians were known as Christians, they were first known as followers of the way. On Christmas Eve in Russia, children do not wait for Santa Claus to bring them presents. Instead, they wait for a mysterious old woman named Babushka. According to legend, the wise men, on their way to see Jesus, stopped by that old woman's house and asked her to come with them to see Jesus. But that old woman told the wise men that she was busy and that she could only go with them after she had finished cleaning her house. But by the time she finally finished cleaning her house, she discovered that the wise men had left without her, since they were so eager to go and find Jesus. So the legend says that that old woman named Babushka now searches the earth every Christmas Eve trying to find Jesus. And as she goes from house to house, she leaves gifts in the children's stockings. She does that in the hope that by bringing joy to all the children she encounters, that eventually she might also bring joy to the Christ child, who she had neglected to go and see so many years ago. Especially at Christmas time, we are reminded that just like the wise men in that story invited that old woman to go and see Jesus, God also invites each one of us to come and see Jesus. God invites each one of us to come and meet Jesus for ourselves and to make him the center of our lives. But do we accept that invitation? Or, like that old woman named Babushka, do we allow ourselves to become distracted by other things that ultimately are just not as important? You see, the good news of the gospel, the good news that God wants us to hear, especially at Christmas time, is that with Jesus we have a home. That with Jesus we are loved and welcomed. The good news of the gospel, the good news that God wants us to hear, especially at Christmas time, is that there is a place for every one of us. There was a boy named Wally Curling. He was 9 years old and in second grade, even though all the other kids his age were in fourth grade.